Alright, so I go grocery shopping about every other week, and at my local grocery store within the same strip mall is a tiny video game store called Buyback Games. And I always stop by in there before I do my shopping to see what they have. And the last time I went in there, I picked up Adventures of Lolo for $5. Now the reason I picked it up is, for one, it was $5, and two, I rarely ever see the game. And I was really unfamiliar with the game because I hadn't played it since 1989, the year it was released. And if you're old enough to remember those little kiosks at the mall where you could play like 10 different Nintendo games for about 2 minutes before it cuts you off, that's where I played it. That was the last time I played it. I wasn't too impressed. I didn't think anything else of the game. So when I got back home from grocery shopping and Buyback Games, I popped this in, and I didn't play anything else for 3 days until I beat this game. It's addictive. It's a great game. Let's take a look.
The Adventures of Lola was released by HAL America in April 1989 and stars Lolo, a cute, blue, sphere-shaped, all-around good dude that unfortunately finds himself in a predicament that mirrors the oldest video game cliché known to man. His main squeeze has been kidnapped. King Eggert abducts Lala, no, not Carmelo Anthony's talentless wife, but a pink sphere-shaped Lolo doppelganger with a bow conveniently placed upon her head to discern between male and female. Sort of like Ms. Pac-Man. Anyway, King Eggert captures Lolo's old lady and imprisons her at the top of his castle, and with the main protagonist following close behind, begins his adventure on the ground floor of Eggert's fortress. This is where the fun begins. Adventures of Lolo is a highly addictive puzzle game which places you inside of a room where the main objective is to escape and move on to the next one. Your goal is to complete the puzzles within each room and move your way up each of the 10 floors in King Eggert's castle to rescue your beloved Lala. Sounds simple, right? A single treasure chest lies within each and every room and is essentially your ticket to liberation from each trap-infested cell. In order to open the treasure chest in each room, all hearts located within must be collected. Impeding Lolo from obtaining said hearts are various baddies which infest the castle like vermin, including Snaky, the most common enemy who cannot harm Lolo and is actually used more as a tool as the game progresses. Sleepers who stop dead in their tracks with a fit of narcolepsy, more often than not blocking Lolo from advancing. Pink dragons that shoot fireballs, and freelancing from Castlevania and Kid Icarus, everyone's favorite Gorgon, Medusa. Oh yeah, there's also traps. When you paint yourself into a corner and become trapped, and trust me, you will get trapped, you can press the select button to off yourself and restart from the beginning of the stage. Each room is made up of 121 tiles, 11 across and 11 down, which makes getting the hang of the game a quick and fun learning experience. The first few levels are pretty simple and straightforward before increasing in difficulty as you ascend the castle floors. Many obstacles lie in wait, such as blocks, which can be pushed along the floor to open up new paths to collect hearts, but can also be used to block enemies, which is actually an essential part to Lolo's survival. Once all hearts are collected in a room which opens the treasure chest, any enemies that had remained dormant suddenly spring to life with one goal in mind: to exterminate our blue round-eyed buddy. This adds additional strategy to the game. Just when you thought you had the room solved, you now have cute rabid enemies on your tail. Yes, Lolo actually does have a tail. But Lolo isn't completely empty-handed here. Collecting certain hearts will reward you with special items which are mandatory when it comes to solving puzzles. The ability to shoot enemies and turn them into eggs allows you to push enemies to different locations, sometimes to clear your path, and sometimes to use as a barrier to shield you from enemy attacks. You can even use eggs as flotation devices to cross water and reach areas which seem otherwise unobtainable. Bridges help you cross rivers while hammers destroy boulders. King Eggert's castle consists of 10 floors, with 5 rooms on each. The puzzles in this game are actually compiled from 2 different games which were released in Japan: Eggerland, Revival of the Labyrinth, which was released on the Famicom in 1988, and Eggerland, Departure to Creation, which was also released in '88, but on the Famicom disk system. Adventures of Lola was exclusive to Western and European audiences only. Of course, the puzzles in Lolo have been Americanized and dumbed down a bit, but the later stages will still give you a challenge, and once you learn the nuances and get the hang of the game, the challenge just makes it that much more addictive. Racking your brain and staring at a room until you're cross-eyed will become a reality while trying to solve some of the game's simple yet intricate puzzles. But once you finally figure it out, the feeling of elation and self-pride is a reward within itself, and you find yourself eager to take on the next course. And a password feature is available for each room for when you get Nintendo and sorely need to take a break. Return to where you left off. It's as simple as that. It took me 26 years to discover Lolo. Better late than never, right? I highly recommend this one and can't say enough good things about this simple yet ingenious puzzle-solving adventure. Any fan of puzzles will enjoy the Adventures of Lolo, and even non-gamers will be hooked. Trying to bridge that gap between you and your girlfriend who thinks video games are a waste of time? Have her try this game and you'll have a harder time prying the controller from her hands than you would a glass stick from a crackhead. Congratulations on having a girlfriend, by the way. Lolo can be found fairly cheap and is also available on the Wii and Wii U virtual consoles for a mere $5. It's definitely worth it and you should try this one out. I loved it so much I picked up Adventures of Lolo 2 shortly afterwards, but unfortunately the cartridge doesn't work on the Retron 5 due to a bad ROM. It starts up and once you're ready to take on the first floor, the screen just goes black. I'm not the only one to face this disappointment. I feel your pain, brother. If anyone discovers an update that fixes this issue, please let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I'll end up playing this game on my NES or Retron 3, and I'll be sure to bring you guys a review here in the near future. Until then, check out the Adventures of Lolo and give your brain a workout.